One sure sign of mobility is a passport. It always makes you think of traveling and getting around and going places. Today on How to Be Mobile, we're going to look at the OQO2, which is also a small ultra-mobile PC. If you look closely, you can see that the device is almost the same size as the passport that we were looking at just a moment ago. One interesting thing is that OQO runs XP and actually does run Windows XP very well. It's a full-featured PC that can do anything you can find on the Windows XP. But today, to make things a little bit more interesting, just for you guys' sake, I've installed Puppy Linux on the OQO. And how I've done that is through the use of a USB pen drive, which I've installed the ISO file for the Puppy Linux on, booted it up off of the pen drive from the BIOS settings that I've changed inside of the OQO device. And as you can see here now, we've got a full Puppy Linux desktop. Now, unfortunately, the wireless connection in my home is down this weekend, so I can't show you that, but I have had it up earlier and running. The Puppy Linux does recognize the wireless drivers and is able to connect to the internet wirelessly and also through the Ethernet connection. It's very snappy and fast performance. That's one of the great things about the OQO using something small and simple like Puppy Linux. Puppy Linux runs completely in your in your RAM on the OQO, because there's a gigabyte of RAM on this particular OQO version. Other interesting things about it is, of course, I always recommend on the website mostly mobile applications that are based on web-based experience, and of course Puppy Linux also supports Firefox full-featured version, so that way you can do almost anything you can do on the regular PC you can do with your OQO, and very quickly as well. I'll try to give you a little bit of idea of some performance on how quickly things open up in terms of the applications here in just a moment. So I'll light up the keyboard here for you to see that. That's a very nice feature from the OQO, and it still works also while you're in Linux. You can scroll around here. You can see some of the different applications. It's kind of hard to see here with the lighting that I've got, but let's go over to the calendar. Let's pop it open. You can see that it opens very quickly and very responsively. Paint, another popular program for the you see this all running directly out of RAM, so of course the response time on the performance of the devices is very quick. That's my mobile phone sending me messages in the background there, so just ignore that for another minute. Of course, also connected to the internet, they've got game hooked up to Puppy Linux, so you can actually connect and do some messaging on MSN or ICQ or AIM or whatever your preference of choice is. Probably what I'll do with Puppy Linux here is strip down most of the applications and just leave the browser and a couple of others. And then I'll get into the Puppy Linux forums and try to find out from the community about the best ways to make sure I can save my configuration properly on my pen drive, so that whenever I do have it plugged in, I can have the same settings pop up and start over again every time I decide to use Linux. The great thing about using Puppy Linux on the pen drive also is when I do simply remove the pen drive, comes like so, and do shut down the program, the next time I boot up, of course, it will boot back into the Windows XP. As everything's running off of RAM, it doesn't have any effect whatsoever on the device itself and the original configuration. So I'm not going to save that session. Now we boot out of Linux. Get a nice reflection in the OQO logo there of also the camera and myself standing behind here. And as you can see, we'll boot into our regularly scheduled Windows XP session. Alright, well, this is one great little video just to show you, give you some ideas of what other things you can do with your ultra mobile devices besides run the standard applications and things that they recommend that when you buy the product. As I said, I think the Linux is very fast performance. The Puppy Linux, which is a very slim version, has all the major and essential programs you're going to need, and as well as the full internet access, which means you'll get the full features and function of your OQO device on your pen drive. Alright, thanks for being with me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please read the corresponding text in the article with this to give you more ideas and information about how to run Puppy Linux on your OQO. Thank you.